If your service business is missing leads, it's probably not your marketing, it's your system. Most businesses do not lose money because they lack demand. They lose money because the handoff from inquiry to quote to booking to payment is broken. The fix is a simple lead-to-cash system. Capture the lead, send the quote, book the job, invoice immediately. Step 1 is capturing every lead in one place. Forms, calls, messages, and email should all land in one system, so nothing gets lost. Once the lead enters the system, AI handles the first layer of triage. It reads the inquiry, identifies what the customer needs, and routes it to the right next step. The next bottleneck is quoting. If the estimate goes out late, the customer keeps shopping, so we use the lead data and AI summary to draft the quote faster. After the quote is approved, the customer should be able to book immediately. No back and forth, no waiting for someone to text them later. The final leak is invoicing. Once the job is done, the invoice should go out immediately, and getting paid should be frictionless. The best part? You do not need 20 tools. You need one CRM, one automation layer, one AI layer, and one invoicing system. Same leads, better system, more cash. Before, leads get scattered, quotes go out late, and invoices get delayed. After, every handoff is faster, cleaner, and easier to track. Now that the system is clear, let us build the workflow step by step. Step 1 is building a simple lead capture form. Do not overcomplicate this. You only need the information that helps you qualify the job and move it to the next step. Start with the customer name, then the service they need, then a short description of the job, then urgency, and then a preferred date. That gives you enough information to decide what kind of lead this is, how fast it needs attention, and what should happen next in the workflow. If you ask for too much upfront, fewer people will fill it out. So keep the form short, clear, and directly tied to the way you plan to quote, schedule, and invoice the work. Step 2 is sending that form submission into one system. If you want a real CRM, use HubSpot. If you want something simpler and more flexible, use Airtable. If you want an easy no-code setup, use Zapier Forms to collect the lead and Zapier Tables to store it. The exact software matters less than the structure. Set up one pipeline with stages like new lead, needs quote, booked, and invoiced. Then make sure every submission creates one clean record with the customer name, service type, job details, urgency, preferred date, and current stage. The goal here is simple. Every lead should land in one place, follow the same structure, and be ready for the next step in the workflow. Step 3 is adding AI triage. This is where the workflow starts getting smarter. The easiest setup is to use Make or Zapier. To trigger an AI step every time a new lead comes in, ask it to return only 4 things: the inquiry type, the urgency, the next step, and a short summary. Keep it simple. Do not ask AI to run the whole business. Just ask it to organize the lead in a structured way. For this example, the system reads the request, sees that this is a small office AV install needed this week, and returns needs. Quote, high urgency, send estimate, plus a one-line summary. Once you have those 4 fields, the rest of the workflow becomes much easier to automate. Step 4 is turning the lead into a draft quote. Keep this part simple. By this point, the lead is already organized, so now you only need 3 things: OpenAI, Make, and one reusable quote template. Make sends the lead details to OpenAI. OpenAI reads the request and chooses the right approved line items for the quote. Then those items get dropped into your template, so the estimate is mostly built for you. The important part is this: do not let AI invent prices. Keep one approved price list, use one repeatable quote template, and review the final numbers yourself before sending it. That gives you a much faster quoting process without making the setup complicated. Step 5 is letting the customer book the job. Keep this part simple. Use one booking tool like Calendly or HubSpot meetings and connect it to your real calendar so customers only see times you are actually available. Start with one booking page for the service, set the duration, set your available hours, and keep the options clear. Then, once the quote is approved, send that booking link right away. At first, you can do that manually. Later, you can automate it with Make. The important part is that the customer does not have to wait for back and forth scheduling. They approve the quote, pick a time, get a confirmation, and receive a reminder automatically. That is what makes the workflow feel fast and easy to buy from. The final handoff is invoicing. Keep this step simple. The AI is not collecting the payment itself. Its job is to trigger the invoice workflow as soon as the job is marked complete. The easiest setup is to use QuickBooks for the invoice and Make or Zapier as the automation layer. First, create one invoice template in QuickBooks with your approved line items, total, and payment link. Then in Make or Zapier, create a rule that says, when the job status changes to complete, create and send the invoice automatically. After that, turn on automatic reminders in QuickBooks so unpaid invoices get followed up without you doing it manually. Once the customer pays, update the record to paid and stop the reminders. That is how you shorten the gap between finishing the work and actually getting the money. To summarize, that is the full workflow. A lead comes in, gets organized, gets triaged, turns into a quote, turns into a booking, and ends in an invoice. Most businesses do not need more complexity. They need a cleaner system. If you want a deeper breakdown of the actual tools behind this setup, including which stack is best for different business types, let me know in the comments and I'll make part 2.